That evening, after Max and Diana acted up again, Laura leaned back in her chair, looking at them both with a calculating expression. Clearly, the corner wasn't enough, she said, crossing her arms. So tonight, you two are going to learn some humility in a different way. Max shifted uneasily. What do you mean? Laura smiled. You're going to serve us dinner, like waiters. Diana's jaw dropped. You're kidding. Nope, Diego cut in, his tone amused. White shirts, little bows, hair perfectly combed back. You'll bring the food, pour the drinks, clear the table. Maybe then you'll understand how to behave properly at a table instead of goofing off. The siblings groaned. The thought of acting like servants for their aunt and uncle was mortifying. Laura studied Max for a moment, tapping her finger on the table. But first, Max, that hair of yours, too long for a proper waiter. Sit down. What? Max protested. But Diego was already chuckling, pulling a chair into the middle of the room. Laura fetched scissors and with a decisive snap, snipped a lock. There, you'll thank me later. Now hold still. Max sat, blushing furiously, as Laura trimmed his hair into something shorter and neater. He caught Diana smirking at him, but she didn't get to laugh long, because next came Diego with a comb and a small tub of hair gel. Ladies first, he said playfully, scooping some onto his hands before slicking Diana's hair straight back. She wrinkled her nose, hatting the shiny, stiff look, but couldn't escape. Then came Max's turn. Diego pressed down hard with the comb, plastering every strand into place until Max barely recognized himself in the mirror. Finally, Laura handed them both white button-up shirts and clipped small, ridiculous-looking bows at their collars. You look perfect, she said with a satisfied grin. Now, go prepare the table. Max and Diana shuffled into the dining room, red-faced and grumbling under their breath, as Diego and Laura sat comfortably, ready to be served. But beneath the embarrassment, something was shifting. A lesson about self-control, respect, and maybe even a strange kind of bonding that came from surviving these unusual punishments together. The table was already set with care, but now the real test was about to begin. Laura and Diego sat comfortably, wearing mischievous smiles, while Max and Diana, dressed up as little improvised waiters, stood stiffly at the side. Well, said Laura in a theatrical tone, today we have first-class service. Diana, the wine. Diana swallowed hard, picked up the bottle, and trembling a little, tried to pour into Laura's glass. A stream too fast nearly made it overflow. Careful, exclaimed Laura, though she was holding back a laugh. Diego covered his mouth to keep from bursting out laughing, while Max muttered, This is ridiculous. Diego scolded, Waiters don't complain. Then it was Max's turn to carry the tray with the plates. He walked slowly, very stiff, because he was afraid something might fall. When he set down the first plate, he sighed in relief. But as he turned, the tray tilted too much, and nearly spilled the second one, his face red as a tomato. The whole situation ended up being almost comical. Diana spilling a few drops of water while filling glasses, Max struggling with a tray that seemed twice as heavy as it really was, and Laura and Diego enjoying every second, applauding as if it were a private show. At one point, Diego raised his glass and joked, "A toast to the best restaurant in town. Excellent food and the most colorful staff I've ever seen." Max and Diana exchanged a look. They were nervous, humiliated, but they also knew this scene would end up as an unforgettable anecdote from their vacation. When they finished, Laura dismissed them with a grand gesture. "Very well, kids. It wasn't perfect, but you made the effort. Go change and relax. Although, remember, we can always open the restaurant of shame again if you misbehave." Max grumbled under his breath. Serving dinner had been uncomfortable. Yes, but it had also taught them that sometimes rules came with an unexpected touch of creativity.